GMAT Official Guide 2016, question number 98. So let's look at the question even before we start solving it. So Bob plans to run alongside a river. So he plans that he will start running from the parking lot. He will run along a river and then take a U-turn and run back towards the parking lot. Right? This is what he is planning. But when he starts running, he gets tired. He runs only for 3.25 miles first, and then he decides that he will run for 50 more minutes. So that means he will run for some more distance down south, and then he will take a U-turn and he will run back towards the parking lot. The time taken to cover this much distance is 50 minutes is what is given. Right? What do we need to find out? We need to find out how much distance will he run further down south, such that even after taking a U-turn from there, he will be able to reach the parking lot in 50 minutes. Right? Now, according to the question, the rate at which he is running is 8 minutes per mile. This is his constant rate. Now, you have to be very careful about the units that they have given. It's not usually the speed or the rate that you get is miles per minute or miles per hour. It's the other way around here. It's minutes per mile, right? So be very careful about that. So I already know that he has ran 3.25 miles, right? And I also know that at what rate he is traveling. So I can also figure out the time he will take to cover 3.25 miles. That is 3.25 multiplied by 8, right? And if you simplify this, you will end up getting 26 minutes. So the time taken to cover 3.25 miles is 26 minutes. Now, instead of finding out this distance, let's find out how much time will it take for Bob to cover this distance, right? Let's find out that. So let's say the time taken by Bob to cover this much distance is t minutes, right? This much distance is t minutes. So think about it. If I look at this, if he takes t minutes to cover this distance, he will take t more minutes to cover this distance, assuming that he is running at the constant rate. And we also know that to cover 3.25 miles, he has already taken 26 minutes. That means he will take 26 minutes from here also, right? From this point to the parking lot when he is running backwards, right? Running back. Now, I know that the time that he should be taking in total to cover the entire this distance is 50 minutes. So in short, I can say t plus 26 should be equal to 50 minutes. So if I simplify t, you will get 12 minutes. The time taken to cover this distance will be 12 minutes. Now that I know the time and I know the rate at which he is running, you can also find out the distance, but be very careful. This is not your usual distance speed time. The units are different. So this will be 12 minutes divided by 8 minutes per mile, which will give you 1.5 miles. So he runs another 1.5 miles down south to make sure that he will be able to make it back to the parking lot in 50 minutes, and that's answer option A. Now, this is conventional method. Now, what if you don't understand this? This absolutely confuses you. How will you solve this question? Let's look at the answer options. Now, if you look at the answer option, what does it represent? I'm hoping that you've understood the initial part of the question, right? He has already covered 3.25 miles, and he has to cover some more distance here such that he is able to make it to the parking lot in 50 minutes. So the time taken to cover the portion marked in red is 50 minutes, right? Now I can say that if this is D, this is also D, right? And this will be 3.25. So you don't have to worry about that. So once you get a rough idea, let's think about what does the answer option represent. The answer option represents the value of D, right? So let's start off with C. So the value of C is 3.0. Now if you know the value of D, what is the next thing that you can find out? You can clearly find out that how much distance will he cover in total. So the total distance covered in total will be, you can figure out from here. So after running 3.25 miles, that is D plus D plus 3.25, or rather 2d plus 3.25, right? So that will be 2d is 6, 6 plus 3.25 is 9.25. Now he has ran 9.25 miles in total. Now all you have to do is find out how much time will it take for him to cover 9.25 miles. Since I already know the rate at which he is running is 8 minutes per mile, 8 minutes per mile, right? So that means the time taken by Bob to cover 9.25 miles will be 9.25 multiplied by 8. Multiplied by 8. That will give you 74 minutes. Hey, and according to the question, how much time should he be taking? He should be taking only 50 minutes, right? So since the value is way more than 50 and clearly 3 gives you 74, so definitely a value greater than 3 will give you even a higher time. So C goes out, D goes out, E goes out. It's up to you which answer option you want to check now. You want to check A, you want to check B, whichever you check, you will get your answer. So let's look at probably answer option B, 2.25. If the value of D is 2.25, then this will be 2.25 multiplied by 2, that will be 4.5. 4.5 plus 3.25 will give you 7.75, right? And the time taken will be 7.75 multiplied by 8, which is 62 minutes. So clearly this is also not giving you 50, goes out. Your answer is option A. What are you left with? Only option A. Just mark it and move ahead.